representative responsible for the Trimble Field Service Management software and hardware, and he will kind of run you through today's session. And like I said, welcome. Thank you for attending, and hope you get something out of it. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. And everybody, I appreciate, like Steve said, taking the time out today to take a look at our field service management solutions and what's available. Let's just talk about maybe what is field service management and where we want to go. You know, today really our objective is to make sure that everyone out there can understand, to see that when used properly, field service management obviously will increase the customer service profitability and decrease the overall spend on your fleet. Some things we're going to go over, like it says in the agenda here, the fact that Trimble's an industry leader. We'll go over field service management, what that is, and get into some of the different types, diagnostics, safety, driver maintenance, things like that. I know most of you are pretty familiar with Trimble, and they are a technology leader when it comes to GPS. In addition to being a leader in the geospatial industry, they're also a leader in the fleet management and vehicle technology sector. 2011, their technology R&D was about $137 million, which, if you compare that to some of the other fleet management companies out there, that's bigger than most of the other fleet management companies even out there. So what is field service management or fleet management? Well, first off, it's not just tracking dots on a map. That's not new technology. That's been around for a long time. But what it is it's designed to increase fleet productivity using real-time location intelligence. So it's a tool to have better communication with your mobile workers, your crews, whatever it may be out in the field. You know, it's a lot of being able to know where people are at when they are out in the field, not interrupting your workers, calling them, hey, where are you at? If I take a few minutes out of my day to make that phone call, and you've got those people on the other end, got to stop what they're doing, take the phone call to say where they're at, you've wasted a few minutes of the dispatcher or fleet manager's time as well as that worker's time. A few of those calls a day multiplied over a week, over a year, we're talking hours upon hours wasted just saying, hey, where are you at? Right there you can save a lot of money just by having this solution on a map. So a little bit more about field service management and what it's designed to do. Managers really, if you think about it, are virtually riding along with their employees. Technology allows the managers to locate anyone really at any time. The background is powered by Microsoft Bing Maps. That's how we use that. You can also get information like traffic and road closures, things of that nature, which are very important. And managers use those maps to find the closest device on a landmark or maybe another device closest to them. In addition, you can look at a device's path that can be displayed up for any single day. On any map, you can look at up to 30 devices at one time, which really enables you to look at your customers' potential needs, assess the routing of jobs, and the device's path can be played back to know the route where your drivers are going. So why would I choose a field service management solution? Well, first of all, do you know where your trucks and crews are right now? Have you ever received a call that your truck is somewhere it's not supposed to be, or that the driver's driving erratically? How do you know for sure? In addition to that, you can certainly lower insurance costs, decrease fuel and other expensive fleet costs due to poor driving maneuvers and harsh maneuvers, excessive acceleration and deceleration, harsh turning, things like that. So a little bit about the Trimble solution. They've got a lot of different options, and it makes it very scalable and customizable. We have fleets anywhere from 4 to 400 vehicles. Most companies start off with a basic fleet management system, and as your needs change and usage levels change, the system can grow with you. Work management, vehicle diagnostics, driver safety, sensors, and things like that. In addition to those, there also is a cloud interface, and we'll take a look at that at the end. So one of the basic parts is vehicle diagnostics. Vehicle diagnostics is a feature of basic fleet management. This is something that anyone can get just by attaching a diagnostic cable from the GPS unit into the vehicle's OBD2 port. There's over about 150 different diagnostic codes and readings that can be sent from the unit via email or text to let the supervisor, fleet manager, crew manager know of a possible repair or need of any type. Something as simple as maybe tire rotations needed, things like that. And a little bit more as a preventive and proactive tool. It's really used to tell you when a vehicle is due for a minor repair or part replacement. A small part or maintenance, or maybe a flush of some sort, can prevent a transmission or major engine failure down the road. Little service now, preventing big issues later. So a little bit about the reporting and monitoring. You can really choose what you want to track. You can monitor stops by duration and area, congregation. The truck stops, you'll also know if it was running the whole time. Look at idling and reducing costs related to fuel wasting. Obviously, in some states that we service, it's very cold and you might have some more idling then, but in springtime, summertime, and fall is a time that really gets a lot of idling wasted running a truck when it doesn't need to be. So let's talk about the idling a little bit. So part of our vehicle diagnostic program is the ability to track this idling, which can be very expensive. A vehicle can burn easily a half gallon of fuel per hour of idling. Now this will increase obviously with the heavier vehicles, higher RPMs, things of that nature. But let's assume a conservative 60 minutes per day per driver, gas $3.50 a gallon, 22 days a month. It's $38.50 per driver per month. Not sure how many drivers you have, but if you look in the example here, 25 drivers is easily $1,000 a month. $25,000 a year saved just from reducing a little bit of idling, not even saving a lot. Taking a lot of time from the drivers. So let's talk more about the driver safety. A lot of different driver-centric tools. You've got the optional TDI, which is an actual in-vehicle box right here. That can actually go inside the vehicle, and if you look at the dots here, it gives you a green, yellow, or red example of driver harsh feedback in the vehicle. And then there's scorecards that actually be sent to the supervisor. There's supervisor tools, including things like team consoles, detail, and summary reports. Consoles provide a summary that can then be drilled down by individual driver scorecards, and the drivers can see these, see their own scorecards to get an idea of what they need to change, along with their supervisors can tell them what's going on. So this is an example of the executive console. A lot of different harsh events here. In this case, it's 4 different drivers looking at the different harsh events, and you can go from a top-level summary like this where someone can take a look at the entire organization and drill down to the number of events overall in, say, a week or a month's period of time, and then they can take that month by month and see if that's actually something that's been improving or not. And if it's not, then that executive can go to those supervisors supervising maybe a crew or a unit and making sure that they're following up on these maneuvers and behavior, making sure people are adjusting their driving habits accordingly. So here's an example of the team console. Talks a little bit more about the acceleration, the braking, the turns, things of that nature, and it gives you an overall speed related to whatever parameters you'd want to use. So you can set it up in any specific divisions or groups within a company and see how they're rated. This would be an individual driver detail report, and the driver can drill down to themselves. They can actually have access to that if you want to give it to them, so they can see, hey, where am I doing well at, where am I doing poorly? Another thing is it allows to look if see there's a common occurrence at maybe a certain area or certain speed. Maybe the speed's changed on that road, so someone's not actually speeding. It's the fact that the speed limit on that road has changed, gone up or down, or different road conditions can have a lot to change as well. Paved to gravel, vice versa. A lot of these, speaking of paved or gravel or different areas, a lot of these can be changed on this configurable menu right here. Acceleration, braking, or turning. You can change the threshold from lower to higher depending on what your needs are. And then it gives you an ultimate scorecard at the end as well and how much you want to weigh each thing, acceleration, braking, speeding, etc. So another section besides the driver safety would be the vehicle maintenance. Obviously, maintaining the vehicles is a very tedious, time-consuming job, very expensive part of maintaining a fleet. With the vehicle maintenance, we really keep it easy by allowing you to keep track of your maintenance by miles or by time. With this example here, you can see there's several categories that can be customized. So maybe oil change on some vehicles is 3,000, some is 5,000. Anything like replacing transmission fluid, engine coolant, spark plugs, etc. And there are also some blank areas that you can put in there. Maybe you want to put in car wash. I know some of these vehicles get pretty dirty and torn up pretty good, so you might want to get them cleaned once in a while, that type of thing. The bar at the bottom of the GeoManager screen allows you to see very quickly if there are vehicles that need maintenance. The yellow would be something that needs something soon. The red would be where something's actually overdue. You can really notify the driver immediately anytime something's overdue. The fleet manager or crew manager can get an email telling the driver, hey, you've got to get this particular type of maintenance done. So in addition to that, the final step really is the work management. You know, what does it do for me? Work management is a pretty robust program that helps dispatchers and managers schedule their mobile worker activities. Work management helps companies assign in-day jobs based on real-time schedule status, which ends up reducing overtime, improves customer satisfaction, increases jobs completed per day or stops made per day. Work management allows a fleet manager, supervisor, crew manager to schedule, optimize, route, dispatch any of the work to maximize the mobile workday to really increase productivity overall of the fleet or the crew. Trimble offers two work management packages. One is the Performance Insight, and the other is the Performance Optimize, or the professional version. The Performance Insight package consists of performance management analytics reports that provide key service delivery metrics. The Optimize package adds all of those, plus adds performance management reports with scheduling, route optimization, and even in-day exception management, emergency type things that can help schedule those as well. The scheduler and the work management professional ensures that customer appointments are planned to be met, so you keep with the promises you've made to your customers to turn up on time and complete the jobs on time as well. What it really does is builds an efficient set of routes for each of the mobile workers, aiming to keep travel time to a minimum, which has a positive impact on worker utilization as well as fuel bill reduction. Work is only given to the technicians that have got the required skills involved, which can be given to individuals with certain types of talents or skills, which is really a major factor to contributing to better customer service, getting jobs completed on time within the time originally quoted, and by the best people for the job. Work management also has a self-learning tool. Work management professional, that is, has a self-learning tool which really begins to see patterns within the scheduling and the routing and job assignments. Once similar or same jobs are repeatedly uploaded, the work management can use that learning tool to assign the right person for the right job. Ultimately, you're going to save the dispatcher or fleet manager time by allowing them to focus on other tasks that arise throughout the day rather than scheduling some of the same mundane, typical jobs where work management can help kind of as an assistant to the dispatcher or manager. Now, during the day, as work may need to be reassigned or new tasks come in, the Intelligent Advisor tool can be used to provide recommendations of who to give the work to, when, and even why, based on requirements of the job and the skills of the employees. The advisor will then highlight in yellow the most efficient option. So if we take a look at this screen here, this may not have been the original person for this job, but once the advisor got a look at it, they might have coordinated different jobs for other people to go ahead and assign this job to this person based on their availability, their lunch break, whatever may have been scheduled for them in that particular time. There are two different consoles to be able to look at overall performance of the work management software. There's the executive console and the team console. One really is for high level and for supervisors. Viewing rights can be assigned individually to see who can see what reports, even down to the end user or the employee as well too. Once the day is over, the workers have done their work, we look at actual job completion and performance. The consoles can really help us visualize that massive amounts of data and collected in these different areas related to service, utilization, efficiency, etc. While the mobile workers are really going about their day, work management is gathering key metrics. And in order to see what is happening inside your business, you need that accurate information, which is why these metrics are based on the actual vehicle movements, position, velocity, and time. When a vehicle arrives at a task location, how long it stays there, instead of being reliant on, say, a mobile worker out in the field to push a button or log into a cell phone, it's something that's automatically tracked. The metrics focus around the key areas: quality of service, work utilization and efficiency, travel, and fuel, ultimately turning your fleet from a cost center into really a profit center at that point. There is a web client interface, as you can see here. Employees can have access to their dispatch tasks, and if we look at the cell phone on the left there, that'll just itemize my tasks in the order they should be completed throughout the day. Each task can be open to view the details. The employees also have the option of closing a task and adding any additional notes with regards to the work performed. Maybe something came up in the middle of the work, they had to add something, maybe a follow-up call or service call or something like that. They can certainly put that information in there. So really there's the work management standard, which allows intelligent insight into vehicles, whereabouts, locations, and shows when jobs are expected to be completed. The work professional takes that a step further with the ability to automate tasks, routes, and scheduling. Those coupled with the learning tool and the one-touch scheduler advisor makes work management professional really a great way to automate your fleet. So we mentioned a little bit about some landmarks and fencing and things like that. Here's some different options of icons that are available for landmarks. Landmarks are used to define important areas where mobile workers should be at, where you want them to be, offices, things like that, and also locations where employees should not be visiting, maybe during the workday. An alert can be sent when a vehicle is in a certain area or within a certain distance of somewhere it's not supposed to be, where you don't want them to be at, off-hours usage, etc. There are some other things, exceptions and alerts that are available when events that occur throughout the day, usually things that a manager or dispatcher would want to know when they happen. Kind of like we mentioned before, it allows the manager to potentially, or almost like they're riding along with that person. Well, in this case, these events will let them know if there's something going on that they don't want to be going on, such as driver behaviors, driver safety, vehicle engine diagnostics, posted speed violations, erratic driving, arrival and departure from specific landmarks, either sometimes their homes, sometimes businesses, things like that. They'll also track, like it says, their excessive stops. Some of the other important features along with the driver safety and the diagnostics and the work management are things like the sensors. Some of the different sensors are things like providing insight on maybe a bucket is up or down on a bucket truck, a drill rig up or down, temperature sensor in a trailer, client billing for on-the-spot billing, less hassle and paperwork for sure, less work for the billing department, and also keeps track of when someone's really on a service call. RFID scanning of parts or vehicle maintenance and safety checks and compliance. There's also the possibility of direct data feeds or API integration. Trimble Geo Manager and field service management has been integrated with a lot of different enterprise products. Microsoft Dynamics for one, Esri, what a lot of our customers use as well. So talking a little bit more about Trimble and their technology, for the field service manager, they main two identical data processing centers located on each coast, one in Virginia, one in Scottsdale. On an average 24-hour day, they're always replicating within 6 seconds of each other. Now, while we're looking at this map here, this is not like a Verizon Wireless or T-Mobile map, but this actually is a map of where they've got vehicles that are reporting all the time, and these red dots show in-vehicle devices transmitting on a daily basis. So you can see they've got a lot of vehicles under management on a daily basis that these two dual redundant data centers take care of. So as we mentioned in the opening objective, hopefully you can see that the Frontier/Trimble FSM solution is a lot more than just tracking dots on a map. In fact, as you can see some of the numbers here done by Aberdeen Group and the research by them, it can turn your fleet from a cost drain really into a profit center. Customers show significant cost savings after implementation of these fleet management tools. Whether you're starting off with basic fleet management all the way up to work management professional or anywhere in between, the customers that have implemented these solutions have seen significant reductions in cost and increased productivity, which ultimately leads to better customer satisfaction and overall business performance. So I know that there are probably some questions here. Steve, I haven't seen if there are too many questions on here. I'm not sure, but we can definitely take questions at this time. If anyone wants to enter in any information or questions they'd like answers to of the information we went through here.
Yeah, there's a couple here that I've got. Kevin's asking, does the scheduler allow you to see or report when a job is done by a crew?
Say it again.
The scheduler, does it allow you to see or report out maybe after the fact when a job is done by a crew member?
Yeah, the crew member can take, if you remember the slide with the two cell phones on it, the crew member can actually go in and report that the job's completed. And they can also go in there, there's a section where they can actually write in there, okay, I had to do this extra, or I got done early because of this, or you know, I wasn't able to get into the building, or that type of thing, or I wasn't able to go to that area. So they can put in notes there as well as closing out the job, and then it'll go back and send the dispatcher or fleet manager, whoever it is, the information, and they can all look at that as well too.
As a follow-up question he's got, does that then show a comparison between the scheduled work time? So maybe they were scheduled, let's say, to do a job from 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock compared to the actual time. So if he said, hey, I was done at 3 o'clock, is there something, you know, after the fact that can kind of show the comparison report?
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to take a look at what was scheduled on the dashboard as well as the finished and completed time, and it'll give us that percentage. So when we went back and looked at the executive console, let's see if I can get back to it fast enough here for us. But the executive console is what can actually give you a look and insight into how the performance was of the job completed versus what it was scheduled for. So that gets into a lot of job estimating and things like that. If it gives a company insight, if I'm assuming this particular job is going to be 10 hours long, and I can continue to track that it's always taking 12, we know that maybe that job's not as profitable as we thought it was, or vice versa. Maybe it's only taking 8 hours, so it's more profitable than we thought it was. It allows us to be more competitive with our pricing and things like that.
Right, and maybe also see, you know, maybe one crew member being a little quicker, a little bit more advanced than another crew member, that type of thing.
Yeah, it allows insight to say, gee, that guy that's been here for 20 years I always thought he was my best guy, but maybe not, and maybe someone else is performing better than you really thought they were.
Sure. And Zach's got a question. Any connection between Trimble system and existing scheduling software?
I'm not sure what we're asking on that.
So if you have an existing scheduling software within your company, is there any way to get that scheduling information into the Trimble software? I think is the way that's being read.
Trimble allows for a direct data feed, so I'm not sure if that's answering what we're talking about there?
Or maybe even exporting out a schedule for 10 crew members for the week. Can that be brought into, say, from an Excel file into the Trimble software?
Yep, that can be
Work
uploaded via CSV. Yep, so it can be uploaded via CSV, whether it be a work management standard or professional. You can also upload via CSV any of the vehicles. So if you're on a current fleet management solution now, or you've got all the vehicles listed on an Excel file, they can all be uploaded, and so it reduces some of the programming time for the fleet management. Absolutely.
Okay. Those are the questions that I see here, Kyle.
Okay.
Are there any other questions through the chat? Again, through the chat window, if you want to ask a question, certainly type it in there and then we'll answer it. As a reminder, we are recording this webinar, so this will be available for playback for anyone that wants to see or show this to another individual within their organization, or those of you that could not attend. So with that, I don't see any other questions. I will let you guys go for the day. I do appreciate the time and you guys attending, and hopefully you can make it into our next webinar series. Thank you.